Okay, Vera. Now let's solve this exercise number 10. Okay? The previous explanation, it is on the previous video. If you just need to understand, there is just something that I have to warn you about. This car is a little different. It has two different types of wheels. The front wheel, it measures 180 centimeters, and the rear wheel measures the length, right? Okay, the circumference 120 centimeters, and this makes difference. Okay, from the past video you have to know that the smaller the wheel, the faster it turns. Okay, the smaller the wheel, the faster it turns. Okay, one other way to see that is the smaller the wheel, more spins it is going to make. Okay, and this is very important. Now, the first thing you have to know from this problem, it is this. Let's get number A first. Okay, now we know that from the problem, we know that when it turns 1,800 times, okay, from A to B, okay, from A to B, okay, for this path, this car is going from A to B, okay, this is the path, the way, it's the length it is going to take, and along this way we know that the front wheel, which has 180 centimeters, makes this. Okay, so the front wheel, which measures 180 centimeters, turns 1,800 times. Now, what is going to happen if we just look at the rear wheel? Again, okay, and let me just put, this is the front wheel and this is the rear wheel. They are different sizes, can you see? Now, we have an increase in here, and in here we have what? We have to know this now. Before starting to make relations, see, okay, what is this ratio? This ratio is going to be the same as this one? Depends, okay? It depends. Depends on the problem. What is going on here? We have to see the units, what is being involved in here. We can't just solve things without thinking what is going on. Now, what is going on here? We are increasing the tire. This is 108 and this is 120. Okay? When we increase the diameter like this, when we have an increase, what is going to happen to the amount of turns they make? Look, the smaller the wheel, the faster it turns. Okay, we can also see in this way. The smaller the wheel, okay, more spins it will make. Why is going to be faster? Because it is going to go through more spins. More spins means faster. Okay, it is speed. Now, the smaller the wheel, the faster it goes. The smaller the wheel, more spins it's going to make. Now, if you are increasing the wheel, okay, from here to here, we increase the diameter. What is going to happen to the number of cycles they are going to make? Well, this is going to be less cycles, more cycles. Less, right? More to less. Therefore, this is going to be a decrease. Okay, and it's very difficult for your age. I don't know where your father got this one, but this one is kind of difficult. But you can solve this one as long as I explain to you this relation. Now, anyway, it's a very good exercise. It is the best exercise, but unfortunately it involves this relation in here. And okay, so we have an increase and a decrease. Remember, when you have this, you can't just do the same ratio in here. Actually, the ratios are reversed. Okay, remember how can you do this in our fast? How do you write fast root, right? What is going to be? I'm going to write in pen because I think it's more clearer for you. What is the fast root? Remember, multiply the top ones and divide by the guy at the bottom. Remember this one? Okay. Now, let me bring up the calculator. Okay, times 108 divided by 120. Okay, and this is 1,620 turns. And this is for what? This for the rear wheel. Okay, and if you say, well, what if I don't want to use this fast route? You don't have to. Okay, if you are not comfortable using a method, don't use it, because chances are you're going to miss. Okay, you have to be comfortable with. If you have another way to solve, go with the other way. And if you don't have a way, well, you have to find a way that you are comfortable with. What would be the second route that we could do? Well, the second route, it's easy to explain. It takes longer, but it's easy to explain. Well, let's see. What is this distance? Distance from A to B. What is it going to be, this distance from A to B? Well, distance from A to B, it is going to be what? We have the front wheel to make the math. The front wheel is going to turn 1,800 times, and each time it turns, it is going to walk through 108 centimeters. Now, what is this? 108 times 108. 194,400 centimeters. This is going to be the distance AB. This is how we write, okay, the distance. Okay, so this is a partial value that we're going to need. Now we know that from A to B, this is a distance. Okay, oh, let's put this in kilometers, maybe. First in meters. To get 2 meters, what do? 1,944 meters. Agree? Let's go work with units. Okay, let's go with kilometers. This is comma, right? Yes, 1,000. And now kilometers. 1.944 kilometers. So almost 2 kilometers this car went through, being that the front wheel made 1,800 turns, having a circumference of 108. So we know the distance from A to B, almost 2 kilometers. Now, what do you do next? Once you know the distance, okay, this is a distance. let's put in centimeters, okay? I'm just played with you about changing units, but it's a different problem, okay? But this is nothing to do with the problem, okay? I just play with you here so we can just practice a little bit units conversion. But let's stick to the green part. That's what matters to us. So 194,400 centimeters. This is the distance between A to B. Now we have our wheel that has circumference equals 120. Well, how many turns it is going to make? Well, 194,400 divided by 120 centimeters, right? And this is going to be 1,620 turns. Okay? Which is the same answer we got in here. No problems? So this is the fast route. Let's even put it this way. This is the normal route, and this is the fast route. Once you are comfortable with Vera, you can use the fast route. If you are not comfortable with, don't use the fast route. Okay, only use the fast route if you are comfortable working with those numbers. It's very straightforward. You just you have to assemble this correctly. We know that a wheel of 180 centimeters makes 1,800 times turns. If we just go through a different wheel, the rear one, how many times? We have to know that this is an increase, this is a decrease. Good. This is the first principle to have the fast route. Those must be reversed, increase, decrease. Once they are, we just multiply the top divided by the bottom. Okay? Simple. It is a mechanical process. You don't have to think. Sometimes it's interesting that. Now, if you are not comfortable working with this, then go to the second one. The first thing you have to know, it is a total distance from A to B. 1,800 times. Multiply by each time it goes 180 centimeters. Okay, so we have a bunch of 180 centimeters. A bunch. How many? Almost 2,000. Okay, those small steps. This is the total distance between A to B. Once we know this, A to B, we know that each turn of the wheel, the rear wheel, it is going to take 120 centimeters. Just divide and you get the answer. Okay, so this is A. Let's go to B. Okay, the B, it is not any wheels from this car, unless this car has a third wheel, okay? Because the diameter, it is saying like this: calculate the circumference of a rear wheel that turns 1,700 times. Okay, we know that. How can I tell that this is not this wheel, neither this one? Well, because the front wheel, it is going to make, let's write this, we didn't write, right? This is, oh, I'm sorry, this is the front, yeah, the front wheel. The front wheel, it is going to turn this, right? 1,800. What about the rear wheel? I have to switch because the blue is not good. What about the front turns this way? And what about the rear? The rear is going to turn 1,620. Okay? Just so you can understand what is going on. Again, as agreed, right? It makes sense this. The front one is this one. The rear one is this one. Remember, the bigger the wheel, less it turns. It's correct, okay? Now, the front one turns this. The rear turns this. And in B, it is saying now, look, it is turning. There is a wheel that it is turning something in between, right? Okay. Well, it is not the front. It's not the rear. It's going to be a third wheel, right? Very weird car, okay? Different. Okay, it has three different wheels. Okay. Now we know that we have a reference, okay, and we know that a wheel that turns on this path A to B 1,800 turns must have a circumference of 108. It is given to us, okay, right at the beginning. Look, a wheel turns 1,800 times if it has a circumference of 108. It is being given to us, and now it is saying, okay, and now what is the circumference if a wheel turns now 1,700 turns? What is going to be this? Well, let's see. What is going on from here to here? We are decreasing, right? Less. Okay? Why less? Well, from this to this, we are decreasing. What is going on in here? The less turns it makes, okay? The less turns it makes. What is going on? If to make less turns, what is it needed? If it makes less turns, is it going to be bigger or smaller? Now, what is going on? Try to read in here. I'll wait a little bit. It's difficult, okay? This concept is not easy to understand. It involves physics, and if we're not used to it, it is going to be a mess in our mind. But, okay, let me tell you, okay, in advance. The smaller, the less time, the less it turns, it is a big one, okay? This one is going to turn less, this is going to turn more. So if it needs to be less turns, is going to be the big guy, okay? This is going to make less turns. Therefore, what is going on? You are going to have to increase, okay, this diameter. Less, this must be more. Again, the principle in here, it is reverse. Okay, we can use the fast route, and the fast route would tell us that what would tell us the fast route? Well, x, it is going to be equal what? I'm going to do it in here, it's better. Fast route, just multiply the top and divide by the bottom. Okay, let's do the math. Multiply the top divided by the bottom. Okay, 114. Oh, it's saying round, okay, in here, can you see? Round to one decimal place. So 114.4, okay, 0.4, because the 35, that 5 brings the 3 to 4. Okay? Centimeters. And that's the answer. Does it make sense? Yes, it does. Because look, this amount of turns, it is in between. And this one, it is also in between. It makes perfect sense. And this would be the fast route. And how would you work if you work with the normal route? Okay, the normal route, again, you would have to find the distance from A to B. We already did this, I'm not going to do it again. Okay, is 194,400 centimeters. This is distance between A to B. Now look. Okay, so this is 194,400 centimeters. This is A to B. What is going on in here? Now we have a different wheel. We don't know the circumference, but we do know that it is going to make 1,700 turns in here. Well, if it has this length, if it has this length, and it must turn 1,700, then it means that it is going to make 114 times 4 steps. Okay, so each step it is going to measure this. Okay, meaning that this is the diameter. You see, it's very complex, this one. Okay, it's very complex, and if you don't understand this one, do you want me my opinion? Ignore it. Okay, that is the opinion that I would give it to you, because this exercise is way ahead, in my opinion, for your understanding. Not your understanding, for any understanding on your age, because because when you have to understand that it is inverse in here, it is not easy. This is a problem. Okay, it's very difficult to understand that this reversion in this problem. Okay, Vero, 22 minutes, a huge video, but at least it is explained. Okay, so everything is explained now to you. Okay, just work through, in my opinion, work through with the easiest exercises, so you just get the concept of them. Okay, and good exam. Okay, and let me know later how you did. Okay, and good luck on the exam. Bye bye, Vera.